Hey everybody, the video you are about to watch was recorded at, I guess, 2 months ago, maybe, when I was still in Albuquerque, New Mexico doing the musical Something Rotten. Things just got away from me, I didn't get a chance to edit it, and then I kind of forgot and found it on my computer as I was getting ready to do another video about V. So I decided, let me do this one first, and then we're going to do the next one. So if you enjoy this, keep your eyes open for another video about V, a VDO, if you will, coming soon. But I thought, let's start with Rainy Days. It's a good way to go. And if you don't like this, well, you'll have to just give the next one a shot, won't you? Appreciate your understanding. It's funny looking back at my facial hair in this. I have watched this video a few times since, but, well, listen to the song more than watch the video. But I'm excited to kind of rediscover it now, a while later. I hope you enjoy, and there will be another video out soon. For now, V's Rainy Days, my analysis begins. Hi, welcome to my channel.
Hey, Uncle Kenny! Football! Hey, yeah!
If you're new here, whoa, let's retry that. If you're new here, my name is Cedric. I'm an actor, filmmaker, screenwriter, and YouTube reactor, and we are continuing our exploration of the members of BTS and their solo adventures until we are able to enjoy them all as one group together again. I'm excited to check this out. I had missed some of V's work, and this was recommended to me by a few of my patrons on Patreon, which leads me to thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you for your support of my career and all that I'm doing and of my channel. And, obviously as work gets busy and things, YouTube is something I love doing, but I gotta focus on acting and screenwriting and all the other stuff I've got to do. So you just make it possible to do this and to carve out time when I can to do YouTube. Your support also makes it more possible to be able to do that. So thank you so much for your general support of everything that I'm doing and just of me. It means a lot. So when I originally recorded this is the part of the video where I asked y'all to come see Something Rotten. But as you can see by my wall right here, Something Rotten is over, and I've already come back and framed the poster and some of the props that I was given. So instead, I'm going to plug The Coroner's Assistant, which you already know a lot about if you watch my channel. But just in case, The Coroner's Assistant is a web series that I am the lead in that I'm super proud of. It was nominated for 2 Astro Awards. We lost Best Writing on a Streaming Comedy Series to The Bear and Best Period Costumes to The Crown. So, feels like we're in pretty good company there, and we were just nominated for 11 Indie Series Awards, including a nomination for me for Best Leading Actor in a Comedy, which is a wonderful honor, and I'm excited to go to the awards. But in the meantime, please feel free to check out this series. We are so proud of it. We worked so hard. All 4 episodes of Season 1 are streaming now on YouTube. So, The Coroner's Assistant, check it out. Okay, on with the video. All right, I don't know what to expect from this, but I'm sure it's going to be great. So this is V Rainy Days. Nice. So before the actual song really starts here, right? Let's just talk about visuals and audio design. We've got, this flickering feeling of being old type film along with, the subtitles showing up almost like we would have in an old silent film. And you hear that crackle of what we associate with film, with old films. They're creating this sort of vintage, nostalgia-esque type of memory where we're seeing the flickering screen, we're hearing it all here, and we're also seeing this kind of experimental frame within frame, frames within frames, frames within frames within frames. Everything's expanding out. We're seeing fingers trickle, or whatever you want to say, tap, whatever. Trickle? That's weird. Against the arm of the chair in tempo with everything. So we're kind of getting used to this beat that you almost don't notice how you're getting used to that building beat and rhythm with everything, but in editing, we really want to pursue rhythm. We want to pursue having you breathe in time with everything and having a flow to what you're watching. And so one of the easier ways to do that is to cut against the beat, but also to have moments with the beat, to create beats on the screen within the frames that we're seeing and everything. This very kind of washed out, shadow heavy lighting and cinematography, a lot of close-ups, also creates this intimate feel that we're brought into with that sound design, with that flickering frame of that old film type feel. It creates this immediate intimacy, which sets us up with this idea of a rainy day, something that's moody, something that's a little heavier, something that's grayed out and a little bit blue. It's, you know, we're getting all of that before any lyric is ever said in the first 25 seconds. Seems like pretty good filmmaking to me.
Rainy days, I'm thinking about you. What to say, wish I knew how to find the way right back to you. On rainy days like rainy days, I'm thinking about you. What to say, wish I knew how to find the way right back to you. On rainy days like.
This apartment, first of all, reminds me of the set from Solo, the Star Wars story, the Ron Howard film. It reminds me of the apartment there at the end. Interesting, I've talked before about blue and orange being dominant color schemes in a lot of cinema, and you can definitely see that here with the orange themes in the room. And then, not that we necessarily have blue, it's a bluish gray. There's kind of this steel gray type feel that brings to mind the idea of blue. Also, right where I pause, I can see that flock of birds that says V is a nice subtle touch. That's well done. Also, the idea of the birds flying could be the idea of birds going south for the winter, or this kind of fleeing this rainy day type of idea. You know, this loneliness. So I'm thinking about you, I'm missing you, I'm looking at my phone, I'm doing all these things. I noticed when we punched in on some close-ups on him, you see that film is kind of gone now. We're in a much more modern style shooting. And we get these interesting lens flares. It creates this intimate feeling. It's reminiscent of, for example, Arrival, where we get these kind of really close shots that put us in this emotional state with the character. So we're getting a lot of that. And you see on his shirt, we've got the orange themes with the blue. And so there's this doled out energy with the orange, along with this sort of doled out moodiness with the gray. And so we're reflecting back this, you know, this chill music, this kind of lo-fi type feel, even into the visuals. It's a lot of wide shots, not a ton of rapid movement. So everything's still getting us into this rhythm, getting us to breathe in time with it. It's a mood reel, right? And so the visuals are great, and I'm enjoying that a lot. But just notice how they're able to take the music and visualize it in that way through the use of the production design, of the colors, of, you know, this idea of it be, and it doesn't look like it's actually raining, but it looks like it's going to rain. So maybe that's the idea too, anticipating the rain.
Bring up my phone, a cage, hoping for your call.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Those birds were flying backwards.
Staring at my
You see that? They fly forward in the V, right? Like this, but they're going backwards. So that's an interesting touch.
phone, a cage, hoping for your call lately. I've been on my own, maybe. 이젠 지난 일을 만나.
Oh my God. I thought I saw a Pomeranian earlier.
Haven't changed, I'm still the same. 늦었지만 우리 다시. Can we go back to the moment again? Yeah, rainy days, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah, so now we're reincorporating that film, and it's like looking back on memories or what used to be, and now we're alone with our Pomeranian, which is honestly not the worst fate. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a really cute dog. I do find it interesting that this feels kind of futuristic in certain ways, which juxtaposes well with the film and with this kind of timelessness of, oh, it's a rainy day, I'm moody, and I'm missing somebody. But there's this sort of, I don't know, what's the opposite of retro? Futuristic doesn't feel correct, but everything's, you know, kind of rounded. The Star Wars comp feels more accurate. Like this feels like it's looking a few years into the future. Star Trek, maybe. I don't know, there's this interesting aspect to the design, and again, we're getting a lens flare here. We've got some interesting focus moments. You can see he's losing attention as he's pouring what look like sugar, either sugar or salt, and neither one do you want a lot of that in your food. So interesting again to continue to examine the visuals. Also, the thing with V, he's got such a unique voice. That's what when I talk about BTS, which I do a lot, just ask the cast of Something Rotten. For what it's worth, now that Something Rotten is over, you could also have asked the cast of Butterflies Are Free, or the film I shot 2 weeks ago, or the film I shot last week when the DP and I were walking around various mountains and woods singing Dynamite and Butter together. And we also listened to Fix You in the car on the way to set one day. And also, here's this from my Instagram story from when I went to a Binghamton Rumble Ponies game and they set off fireworks after. So, in case the display back there wasn't obvious enough, yeah, it's a mild problem for me. He's got this gorgeous, smooth voice and such a unique tone that it almost puts you in this sense of... I think the moodiness lends itself really well to this really interesting texture that he has in his voice and this timbre that he brings to it, this kind of agelessness of sorts. And it works really well for these kinds of songs, and it feels very authentic as he's doing it. So, know your strengths and play to them while still pushing your art forward. And so this is the kind of music that, you put on a record on a rainy day and you listen to it, and it just works really well.
To say, we should know how to find the way right back to you. On rainy days like rainy days, I'm thinking about you. What to say, we should know how to find the way right back to you. On rainy days like...
Oh, cool. Yeah, more intimate close-ups.
Remember how I used to make...
Oh, cool. Okay, let's get into that. So we're continuing to play with this timelessness aspect. He's watching older cartoons on TV while sitting in this slightly futuristic feeling apartment. And something interesting that I noticed that time is when you hear those clicks on the snare, it almost feels like a clock. Right, it almost feels like a ticking hand. So there's this feeling of time, and you know how on a rainy day it feels like time's passing a little bit slower, and when you miss someone it feels like time passes differently. When you're waiting on someone it feels like time passes differently. And then we're seeing a cartoon flower that blooms really rapidly and then retreats back into itself, and we're getting these jump cuts and going back a few seconds and reflecting on this. So again, they're bringing to the forefront of your mind and your subconscious this feeling of memories, of reliving moments, of second-guessing things, of time passing too quickly and too slowly all at once, and the flowers blooming and, of course, having sharp points all around them. There's this sharpness and this beauty that's being juxtaposed, and then coming in really tight on his face, and then right where I paused, and we'll get back to it, there were these busts, which, again, have this antiquity feeling, this sense of marble, or these should be, it belongs in a museum.
That lightsaber, it belongs to me. It belongs in a museum.
Right? There's, again, playing with this boundary of time, of the future and the past, but all I have is the present, and I can't think about the future because of the past, and I only want the future to have this person in it, and will it have this person in it because the past had them in it, but they're not in the present. And so I am liking this visual of constantly playing with time, with where are we, what's going on. Yeah, nice.
Remember how I used to make you laugh the most. 내가 이런 말할 자격 없어도 Let me make up for all the time we lost. We can start again, open all the doors. Don't tell me it's over. We can start it over.
Now they're grown.
너는 나의 내 clover. Yeah, I can feel your touch. I remember your kiss. 그 말은 아팠지, and I miss you. Rainy days, I'm thinking about you. What to say?
Okay, I confess that I'm not an expert in visual material art. I'm a terrible, terrible artist. I'd be interested to know, because I know RM is very invested in art. Is V a sculptor or an artist in any capacity? Because I think it's interesting to get into that. But also the idea of molding your life, molding your future, molding your memories, kind of having them take shape and go into this kiln and be kind of purified or made whole. And again, we saw the busts that first were clay or reminiscent of marble, and then they're chrome. And so again, there's this jumping in material and time. And now we're painting, and this is part of why I paused. I'm about to sound so stupid, and I'm asking for you to educate me. And so please don't judge, because is he painting with a baguette? Because it looks like a baguette, and maybe that's a thing that I don't know about, but I feel stupid saying that. I feel so dumb. But is he painting with a baguette? Because to be honest with you, as much as I'm not good at art, I am very good at eating. And so if he's not going to eat the rest of that, I like bread. He does look like he knows what he's doing with it, and it looks like he's painting some sort of person with kind of a storm raging inside. But the visuals continue to be fascinating. This cutting back and forth, changing aspect ratios, going down to a 4:3, which brings back that sort of vintage feeling, this kind of home video type of sense. Continue to be interested in the visuals. You can see on this shot, we've got light coming in from the window above him, even though we see a window beside him. There's a nice key light kind of hitting him on the side. There's been some fascinating lighting throughout this that I'm sure I've commented on, but everything kind of has this soft fall off, this feeling of things that just sort of ended and are still here. So as you look throughout the lighting on this, notice how we're still incorporating that gray, tan, blue, orange, everything within that very tight color scheme throughout this whole video. But look at how soft the edges of the light are. Everything feels like this soft memory, this sort of in-between place. We're living in that moment where the light and the darkness meet and create this edge that's wider than what you'd see with a harsher light. Everything's diffused. Everything's being seen through a cloud, through the rain. The lighting reflects that idea too, so that's very interesting.
Wish I knew how to find the way
look at that plane behind him.
back to you. On rainy days like rainy
Like Shrek.
days, I'm thinking about you, what to say. Wish I knew how to find the way right back to you.
It's like a demon or angel look. It's cool to go negative on that. And then, yeah, we're seeing the rain reflected up on the ceiling. Or was that the floor? It looked like that had been flipped. But analyzing your face, analyzing yourself, what happened? How do I get back to you? And then this painting that he did showing up, and it could look like a demon. It could look like an angel. It could look like Shrek with wings.
So am I wrong? Am I wrong? For thinking that we could be something for real? Oh, yeah. Oh.
It could look like many things, but it's this self-portrait. This is what I am right now. Done without judgment. Done with layers of depth and meaning to it, and then flipping it into negatives, flipping it into this black and white version of it. Continuing to look at yourself in this world of, every aspect of yourself, which is kind of what you do when you're missing somebody or losing somebody or whatever. You're reflecting back on, who am I now? How am I different? What's going on? I don't know. There's an interesting reflection that exists within this. And of course, you're going to do this on rainy days, because what else is there to do? Read a book.
Say, wish I knew how to find the way right back to you. On rainy days like.
Is the ring flipped? No. It's a nice confusing shot. Fell asleep. Yeah. Great ending. I just tried to take my headphones off again, and I already took them off. That's where we're at. I continue to be impressed with V's voice, in part because he doesn't try to reinvent the wheel with it. He lets it be what it is and kind of lets the lyrics speak for themselves and the beat, and he's about creating moods and putting you in those moods and then letting the visuals hit that too. And honestly, I'm all about it. It's interesting, releasing that song. It's like, is there a better song to listen to on a rainy day? Is there a better one that reflects, what it's like to be missing someone on a rainy day? he just goes all in on a concept and lets his, his strengths be his strengths with it as well. And, knowing exactly who he is as an artist. And then, of course, I say that, and then the whole, end of this video is him examining himself and going, who am I? Is this how I see myself? And that in and of itself is compelling. So, yeah, I don't know if any of that made sense. I don't know if I contributed it all here, but I hope so. And I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed, and if nothing else, that's all right. So hey, please drink lots of water, take care of yourselves, fix your postures, and be well. Until next time, barahe.